We got Ricky Gervais on the line. Ricky!
Hello.
How are you, sir?
There he is.
How's it going?
Good. We were just talking about you. Do you remember being on our show about 6 months ago, maybe 8 months ago?
Of course I do. I'm not that senile.
Okay, and I was just retelling the story where I felt like the biggest douche because when you came in to promote extras on DVD, I really thought you were talking about like the English Office and you were putting out a extras box set that had something to do with the English Office, and you actually looked at me like, what is wrong with you?
I blanked that out.
Okay, good. Good. We just like to acknowledge uncomfortable moments on the show, so I just finally got to acknowledge that we had that moment.
I missed the most uncomfortable moment. What was all this about you had a tramp in, and he wanted to do things to our Queen of England?
Oh, no.
A tramp.
A tramp. A guy. It was a guy we had on a homeless guy on the other side of the show. Yeah. And he was just a person, and he was just talking about all women of power. And he mentioned Condoleezza Rice, and he mentioned the Queen of England, and he mentioned any women of power he mentioned because he was pretty much a psychopath.
Yeah, we got in a little bit of trouble on that one.
That's lovely to know that you really know your demographic well.
It was kind of funny that this guy was historically pretty versed. He knew. I think he mentioned Margaret Thatcher. And
yeah. I guess that story made it over to where you're at, huh?
Yeah. Well, I was didn't you get told off or shut down or something?
For a month, yeah.
Yeah, we got shut down on satellite radio, but our regular radio show continued.
I like how nice that sounds. A tramp. Just picture some guy with the stick and the bandana tied at the end with one of those old hats and a little piece of stogie in his mouth. No, it's a stinky homeless guy.
Well, that's what I mean. I didn't know the politically correct term, but you sorted me out with a crazy guy.
We were never allowed to defend ourselves as far as that whole thing went. It was the rantings of a homeless guy, and the news just took like 15, 20 seconds of that rant and made us look like complete a-holes.
Whoa, it's not your fault, is it?
No, nah, we're not going to take blame.
Hey, Ricky, I'm really psyched you're coming back because I know you're doing gigs. It's called Ricky Gervais Out of England Tour. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster. You're doing a July 12th gig in L.A. at the Kodak Theater and July 14th and 15th here in New York at
That's right, yeah.
MSG WAMU Theater. I've never seen your live act.
Well, I must warn people. I've only done one gig in New York. I did it as part of the Highline Festival. I don't know if you remember back in May, David Bowie was curator of the Highline Festival, and I did an hour show. And I must warn people, if they saw that, there is no point in coming to this one, because it's basically the same stuff.
What?
I don't want anyone to turn up, having paid $50 and go, well, I've heard all this.
How honest is that, though? Yeah. I always lie when I go out and do gigs. I'm like, I'll be on stuff.
Yeah.
I never want to do the same thing twice, so this is basically... that was the warm-up for this eventual tour, so it's a bit different, but, I think it's for people who've never seen me live. And they'd be delighted.
Well, you know what? If someone came out and saw you last May and then sees you, it'll be over a year since they've seen you. People can watch the same live act twice in a period of a year and still enjoy it. I'll go back and watch some of the older Office episodes and I still laugh. If people see you 2 weeks later, that's a problem. But if somebody sees you a year later, man, they're still going to enjoy it.
Yeah, but I pretended it was all ad lib.
Oh, see, that could be the problem right there.
I remember that subtle chuckle he put in at the end of that joke.
Ricky, you bring up something that's pretty funny, though, because I've seen a lot of comedians, and you go, and you sit in the audience and go, wow, he's just ad-libbing off the cuff. He's amazing. And then you just so happen to see the same show a month later. You're like, that son of a bitch.
Exactly.
It's all written.
I want to shout the punchline before they get to it.
Yeah, right.
Coincidence. We both had lived exactly the same routine.
Yeah.
But it's just funny to hear, like, you're just deconstructing yourself, which is like, it's the exact same thing. Well, maybe people enjoy it twice. They can't possibly. They thought I made it up as I went along.
Yeah, it was called the Ricky Gervais Improv Show.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go out. I love this plug. Tickets are on sale.
No, yes, they are. And I saw a moment of your act. I lied, actually, online, because somebody said, wow, Ricky Gervais doing stand-up. It was a benefit for Diana. I think it was at Wembley Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was none of my stand-up. That was me basically floundering because Elton John wasn't ready.
Were you... Were you really... The beauty of this is you were out there in front of a packed Wembley Stadium.
Yeah.
And it looked like you were floundering, but it also looked like, is he floundering or is this just like a Ricky Gervais thing?
Well, I was floundering because I didn't care enough. But I just sold about 500,000 tickets, so I didn't want to do stand-up. So so what I did was I bowed to peer pressure of 80,000 people screaming, "Do the dance." So I did.
Yeah.
You made them wait though before you did the dance from The Office. His horrendous.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just didn't want to do it. I don't want to be that guy that goes around in 10 years' time and all people are shouting is "Do the dance." I'll throw my back out. I don't want to be paralysed on stage. I want to come out with intelligent adult humour, not do a dance like a monkey.
Yeah, I mean, when you put it like that,
so,
right?
Like a trained monkey.
Yeah.
Go ahead, dance.
Yeah. Like a tramp. Like someone who does tricks for smack.
But you were funny though. It was funny because I felt like I was watching this thing that you do so well, which is this kind of real weird tug of war with an audience of like you're letting them get away and think that you're losing it, and then you just pull them back with something really funny. And I didn't know what that was that you were doing, but I thought it was great.
Well, that's good because one British journalist here who tried to start a backlash said that he was rubbish, so was The Office rubbish, it was overrated, Extras was awful, this is the end of his career. That was in June.
Wow.
This is the end of his career? Well, no, it's not. Why say something like that?
Yeah, but you gotta love that stuff, man.
But that's so easy to be proved wrong, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, just say he's rubbish. Don't say, and this is the last you'll see of him. Oh, there he is again. It doesn't work.
How can anybody call the British Office garbage? I mean, I almost said rubbish just so you'd like me, but how can anybody call it garbage? It was one of the best shows ever done.
Well, this is why I phone into this show. For an ego boost.
No, it's an amazing show.
I just watched the one again where the guy is in, the consultant is in again, and he's trying to help, and David just can't let the other guy be the star of the show.
That's my favourite episode.
And he's trying to prove, be the difficult thing, and he's like, no, we can't help it. There's been a rape.
Yeah.
I love that one.
That may be my famous look. Don't go into rape again. You'll get turned off the air.
Yeah, but a close second is the one with the boombox, the motivational speech, and you give the speech, and you run out, and no one gives a crap.
Tina Turner, simply the best.
Yeah, that's that is just
song to do it to.
I highly recommend it to the people out there that have never seen The English Office. You gotta check it out. Gotta.
It's a really weird work of art. I thought it was going to be overrated too because I'd heard so much about it. I'm like, all right, this is probably going to be a decent show that's overrated. And I watched it, and I was blown away by how much I loved this guy and how much you made me cringe. And I've never seen a better portrayal of a horse's ass than David. It was really beautiful.
Thank you.
Hey, you almost feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
You definitely
Such
feel
a tool.
You definitely feel sorry for you,
Well, maybe
Ricky.
NBC will show it now the strike's on.
Wow,
Oh, yeah.
how cool would that be?
That'll feel tweaks.
That's a good idea. That's a damn good idea.
Hey, are you gonna pop up on The Office?
Well, I wanted to give it a lot of time just because I thought it would be weird for me to pop. And I really wanted them to find their feet, which they have. But I think it'd probably be safe now. But what I wanted to do was have The Office watching Extras and Michael Scott to come along and go, yeah, I don't like this guy. When they do an American remake, I'll probably watch that. Yeah.
I saw you on YouTube. They have you on one of the chat shows, and the guy pulls out an old video of your band, and you just look like you wanted to reach over and choke him.
Yeah, but people think that I'm embarrassed about how I look then. No, I'm embarrassed about how I look now. It just reminds me that I used to have a bone structure.
You were a lad.
I know. I was a lovely lady lad.
Yeah, the big hair and everything, and you were so slender.
It was fine to wear too much mascara.
Yeah, it certainly was.
Did you have any success with that band?
No.
No.
No, not at all. No, the thing is, things that come out after you're famous for something else. No, It was, we had a couple of singles out, but it was all over in 6 months, and no one would have ever remembered it if it wasn't for the fact that I then, did something else sort of 15 years later.
Sure.
But, yeah.
Hey, a little known fact about you: you hold the Guinness Book of World Records for the most downloaded podcast. 8 million downloads.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. But I think that's like Alexander Graham Bell having the biggest phone bill ever.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of competition when we put that out. It was like the podcast has been like a year old.
Yeah.
But, no, I think it's still got the record, but Yeah. Do you podcast? Do you ever download podcasts?
I personally have not. I mean, we're up on
Exactly.
iTunes. What's that?
Exactly.
But again, though, because we're doing radio for 5 hours a day, so it's kind of like jaded. But somebody who has to drive to work in the car and then go into an office and has the time may actually do that.
Well, I think that's what people did. I think they listened to our stuff, like, on the subway and in their car and stuff. And, Carl Pilkington became a little bit of an internet phenomenon. I mean, he's a global village idiot. I don't know what the PC term is. He's idiot savant, I suppose. But, no, I think he captured the imagination of a lot of people, which is weird. That, the great thing about podcasting is it is global. Anyone who's got a computer, it's international, which is great fun, I think.
Well, it's amazing how years ago, like say 5 or 6 years ago, like when you talk about the internet, it seemed like a nice way to market something when quote unquote legitimate marketing wouldn't take care of you, or legitimate media outlets ignore. But now it's like it's much easier to get famous almost online than it is through legitimate television.
Well, I sometimes sit and watch YouTube, just put stuff in, like silly cat and funny dog and Carl Pilkington, and I just see what comes up, because it is proper viewing, really. But it's just so vast. I mean, it's crazy.
It's amazing where you find yourself, where you end up when you started out looking at one thing, and then you end up watching a video, and you're like, how the hell did I end up here?
But it's so funny that all the same things sort of float to the top. The famous, everyone's seen that, independently. There's one that's going around at the moment with two cats talking, and it really looks like they're having a little chat to each other.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. I think animals are intrinsically funny.
I don't know why cats have people have taken to cats on the internet in all forms, websites and YouTube and everything. People just like having cats in weird situations.
Well, this is what is good for the cat, because the cat was never really broke television. It wasn't big in cinema, but now they can probably rule the world now with the internet.
Hey, Ricky, by the way, if you want to see, I'm going to give you a recommendation. If you want to see a funny animal video.
Oh, boy, don't talk about the otters.
It's called, no, I hate the otters, holding hands.
All right, good.
It's called Mr. Hands, and it's a gentleman being pulverized by a horse. That's all I'm going to say. Look it up, and you're going to have quite a laugh.
Being what? By a horse?
Yeah, pulverized. Just Mr. Hands. It's just something you wouldn't expect to see a horse and a gentleman doing.
Well, hold on, wait a minute. This is a recommendation. Why on earth would I ever want to see that?
It's sexy. It's funny. It's got a little
sexy.
No, it's not sexy.
Yes, it is. In Jim's world, it's very sexy.
Listen, look, I think you should be closed down for 3 months for even suggesting that.
And you could also check out Two Girls, One Cup. I mean, it's one of our favorites.
I'm going to go and have a shower after this. I feel soiled.
Yeah.
Hey, never
dirty.
No.
No. Hey, would you ever tour with your band? Because we had John C. Reilly in the other day, and it's like he had a band years ago, and now that he's a very famous actor, he's using it in a movie, but you could tell he kind of likes being a rock star. Would you ever actually bring that back and start doing gigs?
No, because for one reason and one reason only, I'm too fat and I'm embarrassed to be up there singing.
And he never rocked.
You see,
it was that new wave crap.
Being sort of short and fat and uncool is a big bonus for a comedian, because you have to be slightly worse off than the audience, whereas a rock star has to be sort of above the audience. But
I don't know. I think you're being a little hard on yourself. I mean, I think the fact that just to see you playing live music and kind of doing your thing in that way, people would kind of overlook the obvious physical abominations.
I love the way that it started off flattering. That was great. That was a real good sucker punch.
Yeah, you were listening to that with such hope.
I know. I was actually thinking, yeah, you know what? I'm not that bad.
But you have a great. Again, I started to keep going back to The Office. I know Extras is a massive hit, but there's a scene in I think it's that same episode with the guitar where you're singing songs.
Yeah.
And Dawn, I think her name was Dawn, gets upset at something, and she's really upset. And you look at Gareth and go, "Get the guitar."
Yeah,
like
that's great.
It's time to straighten this poor dear out.
I love the idea that people think they can sort out people's lives with a song.
Yeah.
just like Ebony and Ivory stopped all racism.
It certainly did.
We can't get.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel over there about the whole Paul McCartney divorce? I mean, it's got to be, you guys got to be sick to your stomach with Heather Mills.
Yeah. Well, I don't really get involved in tittle tattle, but you've got to side with a Beatle, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've got to side with him. There was this joke on a comedy award show where someone said this is the castle where Sir Paul McCartney went down on one knee, or Heather Mills as we call her.
That's a good.
Oh, that is a gem.
That's a 1,000 to 1 shot in it. When everything comes together for the perfect joke.
Yeah, that really is amazing. I've made fun of her, and I just go right for the barbaric angle, but that's a clever, TV clean, funny joke.
And let's not forget the season finale of Extras is what, Sunday on HBO?
Oh, it was Sunday.
Last Sunday. Aired last Sunday.
It just aired.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just aired. I think it's every day this week, isn't it? And then the DVD after Christmas. But,
Right.
Oh, I'd love to see that. I think you'll like it. I think it's the best thing we've ever done. So, yeah.
Do you know how rare it is, by the way, to have such a massive hit and then to follow it up with a different massive hit? I mean, it's amazing. Normally, after somebody has, you look at MASH. Those poor guys tried after MASH, or just the drivel they tried after that brilliant series, and here you are following it up with another giant hit on the same network.
Yeah, but I think the difference is it's not a giant commercial hit in America, because MASH wasn't that the biggest sitcom? Didn't it get the 50 million?
Yeah, but Ricky, there was only 4 channels back then.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I know. It's the same here. The people used to get sort of like 25 million now.
Yeah.
And now it's a hit if you get 4 or 5. But
Sure.
I think that we were never a Seinfeld or a Friends, so it was slightly easier for us to follow it up. But it was never about being commercially large for us. We wanted the program to be. We always said that we'd rather it be 1 million people's favourite program than 20 million people's 10th favourite program. Yeah. Because the point of any art, even a lowly art like entertainment or television, is to make a big connection. You want to make a big connection, and have an effect. I mean, in your case, you got shut down for 3 months, so you had a vast effect.
Right.
I think that's it. And I genuinely believe that some people deserve to be offended, and if you're not getting a reaction, then you're doing something wrong.
Yes.
I think it's important that people hate you as well as love you, and that you don't go out looking for that. But what you do is uncompromised, and you're committed to it, some people are going to find it horrible, offensive, and unfunny. But you don't want to be in that middle ground. You don't want people to say, "Yeah, it's all right. That's the worst. Yeah, it was all right." There's nothing worse than that. So
it makes no impact on anybody either way.
Yeah, exactly. You have no effect on the world.
What do you? Is there anything because I personally, as a comic, there's things I hate in comedy. Is there anything that you really just makes you sick to your stomach in comedy?
Loads. Catchphrases, getting a laugh out of props and silly wigs. People who say things like, "Do you remember the '70s?" Yeah, of course we fucking remember the 70s. I saw one comedian come out and go, "Okay, everyone, what's this lyric?" And he's saying it, and they said, "Yeah." And I was thinking, well, where's the comedy? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're asking people if they've got Alzheimer's or not. No, they haven't. Move on. Oh, God. No, there's loads of things, I think. I don't like puns much. Puns, people who do punny things.
Little wordplay jokes are kind of repugnant.
Yeah, exactly.
Although a guy that I think does a good job, even though he does rely on a sight gag at one point, but he's really funny. Eddie Izzard's a weird combination of a guy. He went out and drag, but I still watched his special, and I thought, wow, the material was really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem with Eddie Izzard is that you sit in the front row, and he starts doing some stuff, and you think, that man's got breasts. It's like you don't want any distractions. Oh, there's a man in a dress. Yeah, I mean, again, at the risk of sounding NPC, I still find transvestites quite funny. I like the ones that turn at about the age of 50, and they go on a talk show with their teenage sons and daughters who want to kill themselves and they can't go to school anymore.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there in a dress, dressed like their auntie, going, I've never felt so comfortable. They're still funny.
And they always pick the worst dress to wear, something your grandma would wear. They don't even know how to dress sexy as a woman.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, real frumpy. Yeah. Why'd they do that? I must admit, I still find transvestites funny. And someone falling over in the street, I still find funny.
Especially if it's the same person. an older man in a mini pearl dress just falling into a manhole is a hoot.
A 55-year-old ex-bank manager who gets his knickers caught on a car bumper and is dragged along screaming, I'm a man, I'm a man.
And his pants are pulled down and his body is chafed. Yeah, I hear you.
Look, we don't want to get you closed down again.
Hey, are you doing the gigs now? Obviously, let me just plug again here. It's called Ricky Gervais Out of England Tour. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster. It's July 12th in Los Angeles, the Kodak Theater, which is where they do the Oscars every year. It's a great theater, great venue for a show. And here in New York City, July 14 and 15 at the WAMU Theater at MSG. You can also go to Ricky Gervais, GERVAIS.com.
You don't even have to promote these gigs, Ricky.
They will sell out.
They're going to sell out.
I think they're away. Yeah, I think I think they're nearly gone actually. But you want to.
Oh, so you're just calling to say hi. I like that.
Just going to hang out with you guys and get catch up on what things you've done wrong.
I think
the easiest thing is to go to rickygervais.com and because there might be other dates as well. So
I get the feeling that you enjoy our f-ups, Ricky.
I swore. And you said F-ups, and I swore. Was that bad?
That's okay. We got on XM, they heard it, but on the terrestrial radio side here, they dumped out of it. But some of our audience still heard it. So it's all right. It happens. People slip once in a while.
I apologize.
No worries. No worries.
I do apologize.
We do it all the time.
No worries.
We slip.
Okay. I thought it was okay. I did. Oh yeah. I'm so sorry. Oh, people think I'm such a.
No, stop.
No, that's all right. You just call up and use filthy language.
Potty mouth.
You were talking about donkeys doing it to men.
No, donkeys would be queer. It was a horse. A donkey is a sap. A horse is a regal, beautiful animal.
I know. And they're not as stubborn, are they?
No, they're not. That's funny. Yeah, you don't have to push a horse very hard. Just kind of smile at it. It's hooves up. Hey, we got to take a break. We got commercials and stuff, but we're really, really psyched that you're coming back. We'd love you to come in studio again, man.
I will, an absolute pleasure. I'll see you all soon. Thank you.
You're brilliant, man. We love you.
Cheers, man.
Thanks, Ricky.
Ricky Gervais, everyone. Extras is going to be on again tonight, 8:30 on HBO.
And I love that guy.
He's great.
It's Opie and Anthony.
Hey, this is Ricky Gervais, and you're listening to my pal, Lil Jimmy Norton. He's not my pal.